All right, folks, so here we are at the penultimate episode of building these two Kaiju. I know I said it was going to be a 2-episode deal, but as it turns out, things take a little longer, and once we get these things clear-coated, it's going to take a month before I can hand them off to Mark for his magic. So I thought I'd put this up real quick. An enormous bee. But anyway, yeah, take a look. So here we are, man. This is one of the two Kaiju. I am really digging the finish on this. It is coming together so nice. The other one is this incredible wine red. And this design is really growing on me. But one of the things at the very end of this, in the next episode, which will involve all the fit and finish stuff, all the stuff that Mark does, the final tally of numbers, we're probably going to subtract about 3 hours. Why 3 hours? Well, it takes time to set up the cameras. It takes time to move the camera to get the shot. It takes time to think about what I have to do in what order to get the shots we need. And that's not insignificant. Back in the old days when I worked at an ad agency, we had a bunch of books that would cover topics of, great theoretical importance about how to be a creative agency or whatever. And two of the things that stuck with me all these years later, the first one was, as an agency or as a builder or as a whatever, do not be afraid to fire a client if they become monsters. And sometimes they do. But the other one, and the really important one, is if somebody is in the zone doing whatever it is they do, guitars, making music, making movies, doing spreadsheets, whatever your thing is that you were really into, if someone interrupts you, it can take you a good 15 minutes to get back in that level of zone that you were there at then. So every time I have to move the cameras, maybe it isn't taking me 15 minutes to get back into the groove, but it's taking me time and it's slowing me down. So I think 3 hours is going to be the number we subtract, given, we'll try to figure that out, but it should be approximate. But anyway, yeah, man, these things are really coming together. All I've got left to do, I've got to finesse sand the faux bindings, the natural wood there, just to make sure the paint that's a little bit on the edges is cleaned up. And then it's clear coat time, and then we let them sit. And that's one of the reasons I want to put this episode up now, is because we do have to let them sit for a month probably before we really start polishing them and finishing up. So I can't do anything, or Mark can't do anything till I give the guitar to him. And I don't want to wait another month to put this episode up. We've been lax in our media savviness. So anyway, let's get on with it and see how far, see what got me to this point right here. All right, with that, let's get out of here. It's still a little foggy. Okay, let's recap where we're at. As of right now, the guitars are clear coated. They are going to hang for a month. We are at 58 hours, 35 minutes of build time, and 165 hours, 35 minutes of dry time and build time combined. So, you know, split in half, add a little bit like we did last time to figure out how long one of these instruments is taking. But the next episode, we finish these things. We finish them, and hopefully it won't be, well, okay, it's gonna be at least a month, isn't it? But, you know, we can do some stuff in the meantime. Mark's gonna build the pickups. We'll capture that. I got to finish the necks, as in put oil on them. We like the idea of these raw maple necks on these brightly colored guitars, so at least that's what we're doing at the moment. We might change, I don't know. Oh, I also have to build the back covers, cavity covers, control covers, and paint them, but that's quick. All right, so beautiful almost fall day. I am really thrilled that this weather has finally broken. It has been so incredibly hot here for most of the summer and humid. Now that I can open the shop door and, you know, work outside, bring the workbench out, sit and look at all this, not a bad way to go. So like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell everybody. Tell those people that you don't think would care. That guy you know, that girl you know, no, they do care. They really want to know about these instruments. So you should tell them. Tell them about everything. 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 Love you all. See you next time.